Welcome back to Best Asian Horror Movies. I'm your host Blinky, and today we're going to be exploring Studio Ghibli classic Nausicaä of the Valley of the Wind. Now, I know what you're going to say. What? That's not horror, that's fantasy. Well, I strongly disagree. This is fantasy. This is fantasy. This is my personal fantasy. But this? This is horror. Objectively speaking, the movie combines elements of fantasy, sci-fi, and horror to make for a totally unique and unforgettable cinematic experience. In addition to discussing the movie, we're also going to be looking at its revolutionary animation process and how the film led to the establishment of Studio Ghibli. At the end of the video, we're going to give the movie our own rating based on story, atmosphere, and world-ending terror. Before we begin, please like and subscribe. Nausicaä of the Valley of the Wind, directed by the legendary Hayao Miyazaki, is a quintessential animated film that remains a cornerstone of Studio Ghibli over 40 years after its release. The film takes place in a future where humanity has been almost wiped out by the spread of the Sea of Decay, a toxic forest that threatens all life on Earth. Within this ecosystem, giant mutant insects roam, including the massive and majestic Ohm. The remaining human population has scattered into isolated kingdoms, each trying to survive in the aftermath of environmental devastation. The story focuses on Nausicaa, the princess of the Valley of the Wind, a small kingdom located on the borders of the Sea of Decay. Unlike many others, Nausicaa is deeply connected to nature and has a profound understanding of the toxic jungle, which she believes is not inherently evil, but rather a part of the natural cycle of life and death. She seeks to bridge the divide between humans and the environment, promoting peace and harmony rather than conflict. When a neighboring kingdom, the Tolmekians, attacks the valley in an attempt to retrieve an ancient weapon, the God Warrior, Nausicaa finds herself at the center of a conflict that threatens to escalate into full-scale war. The Tolmekians, driven by a desire to control the power of the God Warriors, are willing to destroy the Sea of Decay in their pursuit of power. Nausicaa, however, believes that humanity must find a way to coexist with the jungle, which is in the process of purifying the land and helping to restore the planet's balance. Throughout the film, Nausicaa must use her intelligence, compassion, and bravery to navigate the conflict between the warring factions, unravel the mystery of the Sea of Decay, and prevent a catastrophic war that could annihilate the planet. Her character's journey is one of self-discovery, leadership, and ecological wisdom as she attempts to unite people through understanding rather than force. In other words, she is Greta Thunberg Warrior Princess. The God Warriors are central to the film's narrative, representing both the destructive capabilities of humanity and the potential for its rebirth. These enormous biomechanical creatures were created by an ancient civilization that once sought to dominate the Earth. The film refers to their destructive rampage as the 7 Days of Fire, which occurred over 1,000 years ago, though this could have been much longer. In 2012, Studio Ghibli released a live-action prequel to the movie entitled Giant God Warrior Appears in Tokyo, detailing the events leading up to the 7 Days of Fire. This implied that Nausicaä of the Valley of the Wind is indeed set in the distant future on Earth, after the destruction of our current society. God Warriors were ultimately what caused the cataclysmic event that led to the collapse of civilization and the rise of the Sea of Decay. They are a hybrid of organic and mechanical components, towering over human structures, and capable of unleashing unholy destruction. The God Warriors symbolize the unchecked greed and violence of past civilizations, whose technological advancements ultimately led to their own downfall. In the film, Nausicaa is determined to understand the true nature of the God Warriors and the lessons that can be learned from them. She believes that humanity's obsession with power and control has led to destruction, but by learning to respect and understand nature, humans can find a path to redemption. The God Warriors, though dangerous, are also emblematic of the duality of human nature, the potential for creation and obliteration. The film was a groundbreaking achievement in animation, blending traditional hand-drawn techniques with innovative methods to create a visually stunning world. At the time of its release, the film was one of the most expensive and labor-intensive projects in Japan, pushing the boundaries of what was possible. The animation was primarily done by hand, with over 100,000 individual frames created for the film. The fluidity and detail of the animation, especially in the action sequences, were unprecedented for a film of its time. One of the most remarkable aspects of the movie is the intricate detail detail in the backgrounds, which were meticulously painted to convey a sense of depth and realism. The vibrant landscapes of the Valley of the Wind and the ominous beauty of the Sea of Decay were rendered in combination with watercolor paintings, which brought these environments to life in a way that was both visually striking and emotionally evocative. The film notably used 263 colors, a much higher number than was typical at the time. Now, I need to reiterate that this film was made over 40 years ago, and still looks better than so much modern anime. Sorry, Vegeta, you're the best. When are we getting a live-action Dragon Ball Z, by the way? No, not that. Get that out of here. The animation also incorporated some cutting-edge techniques, such as the use of multi-layered cells to create a sense of depth and movement, particularly in the scenes where you can see the giant Ohm undulating. The film's distinctive visual style, characterized by flowing lines, delicate shading, and rich colors, also reflects Miyazaki's artistic influences, including traditional Japanese art, European fairy tales, and Western animation. The blending of these various styles helped to give the movie its timeless and universal appeal. While Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind was not technically the first film produced by Studio Ghibli, it played a pivotal role in its creation and set the stage for the studio's eventual formation. The film was produced by Tokuma Shoten, and although Miyazaki's name was already widely known in the anime industry, Nausicaa was the project that elevated him to international prominence. Its success, both critically and commercially, demonstrated the potential for serious, thoughtful animation that combined compelling storytelling with stunning visuals. The film's themes of environmentalism, war, and humanism resonated deeply with audiences, and it quickly became a cultural touchstone in Japan and around the world. Following its success, Miyazaki and his frequent collaborators Isao Takahata and Toshio Suzuki decided to form their own animation studio in 1985. This decision was motivated by their desire for creative independence and the need to make films on their own terms, free from the constraints of the traditional animation industry. Studio Ghibli was born from the passion and vision that Nausicaa had ignited, paving the way for future Ghibli classics like Castle in the Sky, My Neighbor Totoro, and Princess Mononoke. In many ways, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind was not only a groundbreaking film in its own right, but also the foundation upon which Studio Ghibli was built, cementing Miyazaki's place in the pantheon of the greatest animators of all time. Okay, if we can't get a live-action Dragon Ball Z, can we get a Studio Ghibli Dragon Ball Z? I know The Boy and the Heron was supposed to be the last one, but let's be honest, that film was kind of meh. Here at Best Asian Horror Movies, we're going to be rating our films based on 3 criteria: story, atmosphere, and terror, with each category eligible for a maximum of 6 bloody skulls. I absolutely love post-apocalyptic sci-fi horror. It is by far my favorite genre. And yes, again, I know this film is technically fantasy, but let's be real. The story weaves in so much social commentary on war and environmental destruction, but it doesn't beat you over the head with it like a lot of modern movies. The lore and mystery of the God Warriors was also so fascinating and thought-provoking. There's so much to discuss here, but it's really just a perfect story. Let's go with 6 bloody skulls. From the very first scene, you feel as if you're transplanted into another world, maybe even another reality. The world building, the creature designs, the unique aesthetics of everything from the gunships to Nausicaa's glider was so intricate and unforgettable. The music really drove home the fantastical and beautiful elements of the film, though I still thought the sitar music for the giant Ohm was, maybe a little bit off. Not wrong, not bad, but I felt like they deserved something more menacing and ominous. Just my personal opinion. Again, we're gonna go with 6 bloody skulls here. Yes, I know it's not a horror movie, but the rampaging god warriors, the stampeding Ohm, the massive mutated insects were nothing short of nightmare fuel. We're talking about colossal, unholy creatures that have the ability to destroy the planet. Come on, that's scary. 5 bloody skulls. This is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi horror movie with strong fantastical elements. Regardless of genre, it's a masterpiece. Go watch it. But first, like and subscribe. Okay, thank you. I'm Bernie Sanders. Hey.